Nothing major today, but this came in the mail. This guy right here, and they always leak. Well, I don't know about always, but the last one leaks where the black meets the black plastic meets the metal housing on this oil pressure sensor switch here. So mine's leaking right at that joint, and leaking quite a bit actually. So I'm just gonna swap this one in, see how long it works. And haven't done a lot of Pajero videos lately because one, I just haven't had the money to do what needs to be done. So the next one is going to be the alternator. The next repair will be the alternator. So I'm going to do a removal and install on that. Mysteriously, the bearings failed just at the moment that I got the wiring fixed. Kind of a strange coincidence, but it's probably what I was hearing for the past several months. I was hearing a noise that I was afraid was the timing chain. Someone said it might be the timing chain. Fortunately, I believe it was probably the alternator bearings because it's completely froze up now. And yeah, so let's get this oil pressure switch in. So you can probably see there the wires to the alternator have been repaired, but now the alternator is seized up. So, and it looks pretty tired anyway. It's been through lots of water and stuff, so it makes sense that the bearings are probably pretty well gone. I've seen online that people say you can free them up, pull them out and get a wrench on it and all that sort of stuff, but I figure if I do that, it's going to be stuck again in the next couple months, so no point in a temporary fix. I'm just going to replace that. So moving on over to the oil sender. There she is in all of her glory. That's actually only about 9 months old now, I think. I replaced that on the way here from Luzon. But it leaks, as I said earlier, between the plastic and the metal housing there. So just going to pull that out, wrap some Teflon around the threads on the new one, and get her in there. Okay, not the greatest angle in the world, but that's about the best I can do with what I have right now. And just pull the sensor wire off. And I remember this was a little bit slow. You have to just do little movements here. Little baby steps. How did I do that? How did I get that off of there? You know what? Maybe I used a deep socket. Let me go check. Okay, so you're probably not going to get a regular wrench on there. Probably better off with a 24mm socket. And you can't snap it all the way onto the extension. I'm not sure. I don't think you could get this off with a regular wrench. Of course, that's a different size. And by the way, this is not actually for a 4M40 engine officially, but this looks exactly the same. So it was about half the price, so I thought I'd give it a shot. See if it lasts me a couple months anyway. So I take it back. I don't have a socket for this one. The outside diameter is larger. So I'm going to have to just go little by little with this crescent wrench here. Very carefully pull that oil line out of your way. I think it's the power steering. Okay. And that's enough now. Should be loose enough to come off. Okay. It should be about the same. Looks like it. The outside diameter of the old one is larger, but otherwise they look basically exactly the same. Now let's see if the new one threads in there. I was going to use the Teflon tape, but I think this is probably not. I think it's probably not necessary. Yeah, it's probably going to go on just fine like that. And now that it's all bright and shiny, I'll be able to see where any leaks come from, if there are any. Okay, so you can't let that drop all the way down, or the electrical contact tab will block your ratchet extension. And also you want to be careful not to get these too tight, as they can snap off, and then you're in a world of hurt. That's probably good right there. Okay. So there's our bright, shiny new sensor. Nothing more complicated to it than that. Get this. Okay, that still fits pretty good there. And I didn't have an oil pressure light either, so I'm suspecting that it could also be because of that. I'm thinking that all the oil that was leaking inside probably interrupted the contact, so hopefully this will also allow the dash light to come on. In fact, maybe I'll try that right now. Alright, so like I said, the same time that the alternator light stopped working and the alternator stopped charging, the oil pressure sensor light stopped working too when turning the key to the on position. Another one of those weird coincidences, but I'm going to test now to see if that new sensor changes the situation a bit. Oh, sweet. Yes. Cool. Okay, now I've got alternator light and the oil pressure light. So I already fixed the wires on the alternator, that's why the alternator light is now working. And now with that oil pressure sensor replaced, now the oil pressure light is on. Extremely happy about that. Extremely happy. Cool. Awesome. So that worked. So you don't necessarily need the exact Pajero 4M40 oil pressure sensor, but just look for one that basically looks the same and it's probably going to work. Okay, so my new oil pressure sensor is functional, seemingly. The next step is to take a little test drive and see if it leaks or not. And on a side note here, as we are on a small island in the Philippines, correct parts are not always readily available. So that's another reason for that one over there. The factory 4M40 oil pressure switches were not available online, or I couldn't find them anyway. But I just wanted to point out that this one has the screw-on tab. So I'm gonna take the screw and the tab off, and I'm gonna keep them in the console, so that if ever we're out in the middle of nowhere and I have to be a little less picky about my oil pressure switch options, I can either buy the one that already has the tab riveted to the top, or I can buy the one that has the one screwed to the top, and that opens up my options slightly. Anyway guys, thanks a lot for watching. Sorry that I haven't done a lot with Pajero stuff lately. Not a lot of cash to be doing a lot of things these days to the old girl, unfortunately. She's been a little neglected. But we're going to get her up and running here soon. I think next month I'll be able to buy the alternator, which is about, it's about 7,000 pesos. If somebody wants to gift one of those, I certainly wouldn't turn it down. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and see you soon. Take care.